Ryan, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm really excited for the conference coming up here. For people who don't know, who are you and what is the redemptive real estate?
Yeah, Josh, hey, thanks for having me on. I'm a 40-year local here in San Luis Obispo. Been here my whole life. Actually, I think it's funny. I tell people I've never been away from the Central Coast for more than 10 days in my life. So you can see I'm a little sheltered. But yeah, about a year ago, I was looking at the market and interested in getting into commercial real estate, transferring from single family residential as a primary focus with my wife. And looking at the market conditions, I wasn't quite confident in pulling the trigger on my first syndication commercial real estate deal. And at that time, I met a large multifamily developer out of Colorado who's doing phenomenal work, meaning impacting his community and the residents in his apartments. He's doing phenomenal work in multifamily. And his name is Dave Snyder with Continental Realty Group. And I was so inspired by his story. We're at his fishing ranch and just discussing how he really cares about his properties and his residents, and he's heavily investing in those communities. And I thought, man, is there any conferences that talk about making a difference in our communities? And his story just really resonated with me. And having hosted kind of one private equity capital raising conference before for a tech company I helped start, I was wondering what the next step was. Am I going to host another conference? And when I heard this story, I just had to go and find out, are there any other conferences focused on this? Connecting folks who want to make a difference through real estate, connecting their stories with capital partners. Is there anyone doing conferences like this? Because it sounds really meaningful to me. You know, we all want to have purpose in our lives. It sounded like a vehicle or an opportunity for me to find these, purpose-centered real estate stories and to platform those and to discuss those and accelerate and multiply those types of stories. So it's been a one-year journey that has really led to the culmination of our inaugural event called the Redemptive Real Estate Summit in Santa Barbara, California. And it's been a fun journey. Been learning a lot and meeting great folks around the country. So although I'm a 40-year local my whole life here in San Luis Obispo, the last year I've been meeting people all across the country and find these great stories in real estate. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Who is going to be there as far as the speakers and the audience members? You mentioned a little bit about getting inspired and having meaningful connections with real estate, right? Who are some of the speakers and who are some of the attendees, and what are you hoping that they get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, great question, Josh. The reality is, when you're starting a new conference or a new community, you need real fun. You really need to find who's the leader in the space, who's respected, who is an authoritative figure in the space. And so this is a real niche. I think there's a lot of great organizations doing good work in real estate, meaning they have a great product. But who's really going next level and putting the purpose of their company more in the front, of like, we're not just trying to make money in real estate, we're really wanting to make a difference in the lives of communities and people. And so I've been able to uncover, after probably speaking with, 400 to 500 folks between a few individuals and partners and we found kind of some real key leaders in the country in this space. One, of course, is Dave Snyder, who is one of the foremost leaders in multifamily, billions of dollars in multifamily, has, typically owns, around 10,000 units at a time. And he is a great leader in that his communities are really focused around the elevation and personal growth of the residents. And so they hire multiple staff to just care for the residents and help them, go through kind of financial training so they can manage their finances better. They create Mom's Day Out programs and just have tremendous sense of community in the properties. And people don't move out of those properties, which makes them more profitable. So he's incredibly successful, not only from the function of his company, which is creating great communities, but also from the financial performance. And so that's kind of what we're looking for, is organizations that don't just have purpose, but they're also successful financially, because those are more prone to be multiplied. So Dave Snyder with Continental Realty Group is a speaker. And then we got Chuck Weldon, with Weldon Field. He both is a property owner and a property manager. And so he's similar to Dave in the multifamily space, and he has hired many internal staff to just focus 100% on ministry to the residents, caring for them, hosting events, activities. And so he's one of the pioneers in doing it all in-house, because typically you're looking for a third-party service provider to add value to your properties. And so he's a great story in multifamily as well. One of the largest, fastest growing companies and nonprofits, in the world is a nonprofit called Faith Driven Investor, and the sister company Faith Driven Entrepreneur. And so, these are faith forward oriented groups, which is a lot of our demographic, really focus on purpose, a higher calling on their careers. And so Henry Kasner is the founder of that. He's all over the world doing conferences and convening, tens of thousands of folks, hundreds and hundreds of small groups across the country, discussing investment and real estate, and being motivated by faith and purpose. And so Henry Kasner, really honored to have him as a speaker. And there's another gentleman, with a company called Launch Capital. His name is Michael Hall, and they're just doing housing for refugees, which is interesting. You would think that's maybe a difficult clientele that may have trouble paying the rent, but he's made a profitable model, where he's just focusing on refugees and doing a great job. And so he's finding a need, and he's meeting it through real estate. And we have leaders in this kind of space of church real estate that are going to be speaking. Like, did you know there's $1 trillion of equity sitting in church real estate? And specifically here in California, the laws have been really changed in the last month to accommodate housing on church properties. And so, we're trying to highlight all these different categories of opportunity, financial opportunity, but also purpose opportunity.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit before we got started on this call about the importance of purpose and the intersection of purpose, the financial the financial goals, and also the faith aspect of it. And from what I understand, this is not just for people of faith or Christians, but there is that component that has really resonated with those who want to have a more meaningful approach to their business. Like the gentleman that's working with the refugees. I mean, you can still make a profit and still provide, value to people, but particularly have something that it's a calling that may resonate more and elevate the whole experience. Could you talk a little bit more about that, as far as that intersection of faith and purpose and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all need purpose in our lives, and what motivates us to get out and do the hard work we do. We can't just be focused on purpose. The function of what we do in real estate, in whatever capacity it is, whether a broker or finance manager, property manager, or in retail, commercial, industrial, the function of what we do needs to be excellent. And from that position of excellence, then you really get opened up to opportunities to having great purpose, whether it's purpose from the financial success that you have, maybe a generosity initiative that your company attaches itself to. That's compelling. There's great stories in that space. And then there's actually the innovation of the product or the service you bring to the market. We can certainly be more thoughtful and not exploitative, thoughtful about how what the service or product we bring to the market, how does it deliver value? And the more we think about that, the more sticky we're going to be as business owners, as real estate leaders. And so, yeah, we want to help accelerate purpose in real estate. We want people, specifically in the broker market. We have a speaker named Andrew Arroyo out of San Diego with 35 offices around the country, taking his company public. And he specifically wants to focus on influence and generosity. Every year his company is increasing 1% on their giving from their gross proceeds. I think they're up to 21%. And it's just a legacy of generosity that he's attaching to his brand. And so we're finding those stories of folks wanting to give back, wanting to be influential, not just transactional. And we're finding, a lot of our demographic is, certainly from the faith community and is wanting to pay it forward and wanting to, focus on the purpose, the impact of their work.
So there are a few spots that are available in the in-person conference, which I personally, as somebody who has done events before myself and understand the importance of interacting with people in person. I really encourage, doing that, if you can, attend in person. But there's another opportunity as well, which is a virtual conference. Could you share real quick, if anybody's interested, where can they find tickets? Where can they RSVP for the in-person? And then where can they find out more information regarding the virtual conference?
Yeah, both opportunities are found on our website, which is RedemptiveRE.com. And the live, we just have a couple spots left, but happy to even provide a couple $100 off discount for any of your listeners. It's about having the right people in the room for the live conference. The price point is $1,500, but happy to knock off a little bit of that for some of your listeners, because I know you have great folks that that resonate with this message. And so the live is a great opportunity. It's terrific to be in person. We're going to be meeting on the 7th at 4 p.m. for a cocktail hour overlooking the ocean at the Santa Barbara Hilton, and then it'll conclude after 40 hours of connecting and relationship building. On Thursday at 12 noon, we're going to wrap up there in Santa Barbara. And then 10 days later, on the 17th, 10 days from the start of our live conference, we're going to take all that wonderful content, we're going to condense it down into a 5-hour virtual conference that we're going to have virtual MCs, we're going to have live interaction, and we have a very sophisticated event app that allows you to fill out a profile and connect with all these values-aligned individuals across the country, across the world, and they're going to tune in and they're going to engage with this content, interact, and then also network with one another to share ideas and best practices. This is a really collaborative community, a generous community. The goal here is not strictly like business development, and getting a deal done. That's part of it, of course, but it's really about the cumulative wisdom of the room and collaborating with one another, because we all want to help each other succeed, make a difference, and bring new products and services and best practices to the market for the viability of our companies and also for the impact and purpose of our companies.
And legacy, really. And I think that you are uniquely gifted because we've known each other for a long time. And I really love how you're focused on collaboration, community, and building something more than just one person meeting. It's an opportunity for people to build out a group that wants to expand. And our mutual friend Chris Fela, I was talking to him and he was talking about 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 11. And I'm so inspired by that and by the opportunity that you presented, because that's really where it's at, creating a space for people to connect, to collaborate, and to create a community that not only benefits those in the community, but benefits those that they're there to serve. And I think when you really look at business from a very, very basic perspective, and by business maybe I mean just accomplishing things that bring value to others, right? Whether it's goods or services, it's about the people that you have in your team, because you can't just do it all yourself. Even though solopreneurs, is a common term, you really have to bring those people in if you want to build a larger vision and to create that kind of legacy that is lasting. So I really appreciate that you are bringing together people with a common goal of having a purposeful, having that purposeful approach to real estate, which sometimes is maybe not as purposeful. It can be more nuts and bolts of an industry, but really taking that purposeful, meaningful approach and getting those people in the same room so that they can synergize together and to create something awesome. I'm really excited to see what comes of this, because I think there's going to be some huge opportunities that are presented, because there's so many people that have a mutual goal. So I just want to say I appreciate what you have done, and look forward to not only a successful conference here in a couple of weeks, but also the years to come, because this is an annual summit. So I really appreciate what you've done. Any last words? Anything else to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, we don't need another real estate conference. We don't need more events. Like, we really need community. And what we found is that a lot of folks are doing great work, but in silos. And so we want to find those individuals, values aligned, and collaborate. And I think a conference is a great format. I think regional conferences is great. A national conference, which this is great, but we see this regional in cities that have interest, and probably smaller quarterly gatherings to collaborate and share ideas and to help one another. So yeah, let's get out of our silos and let's meet other great folks who want to make a difference, who want to make a profit, and they want to provide for their families, but they also want to be intentional about connecting greater purpose to their work.
Again, you mentioned it already, but where can people find out more information? What's the website?
Yeah, RedemptiveRE.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm really excited about next week. If anybody here watching is going to be attending, looking forward to meeting you in person. And yeah, really excited. Thanks for putting this on, and I'm really excited to see how it all turns out.
Yeah, so glad to have you. It's really great. Look forward to seeing who you get to connect with, and we're going to have a great time. Look forward to talking more about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
You bet. Take care.